What's going on? Brittany Hughes here, and I'm back with another video. Now, today's video looks a little bit different because it's Friday, March 29th. It is clearly not 6:30 in the morning, but it's Good Friday, so it was a bank holiday today, meaning that no trades were placed today. But I haven't really posted many videos this week, and I just wanted to take a minute to sit down. I'm going to go over and review the trades that I did take yesterday. But I wanted to just touch on the fact that I haven't really posted many videos this week because I've had a pretty chaotic week mentally. Like nothing externally has really shifted or changed, but mentally and internally, it was a tough week just for no other reason besides my own doing. I don't know if you can relate to this, but sometimes I just get stuck in my own negative thought patterns and it affects everything. It affects my trading, it affects my mood throughout the day, it affects my workflow and productivity. And again, it's been like quite a week mentally. Like I've been fighting mental battles. So I filmed yesterday like a pre-market analysis and a live trade session, and like it was so chaotic that I was like, I'm not releasing that. I'm not releasing that. So I figured today, it's a bank holiday, nothing's going on. I could review the trades that were placed yesterday and kind of walk you through my thought pattern. I mean, maybe I will share them. I don't know. I don't even know if I still have the video on my computer, but I am learning. I'm learning the ropes of filming these videos for myself and for you to tune in and for us to see the progress and progression. And really, like, if I scale it back even further, I've mentioned this before, but these videos really help me in being able to walk through my thought process and what I'm looking at. And it really allows for these concepts to click in my mind. So that's number one. Number two, I know that watching videos like this that other people share, particularly the mentor that I have, and looking at videos and watching videos that people post, and it's very similar concepts that I trade, I find these videos extremely helpful to kind of, again, drill in, maybe see some things that I am not looking at or some things that I've missed. So that's another reason why I'm sharing these. And I do love sharing these videos. So I'm going to keep doing it. Now, I find that, yeah, this week was just a really psychotic week mentally for me. And I'm being easy on myself because I am human. And if you've had a week where it's been like, what the hell? Here's your permission that is obviously okay and normal, and we're humans. And whatever you're feeling internally will naturally be mirrored back to you in all regards, in trading, in relationships, in like work, in day-to-day conversations. And so I try to be hyper mindful of that. And if I'm not in it mentally, then it's kind of hard for me to show up consistently like in this space and film these videos. So anyways, all that to say, I'm going to be in this video going through my trades that I took yesterday, and kind of sharing with you what the hell was going on in my mind. I literally couldn't even tell you. And we're just going to get into it. Okay? Okay. So this is NASDAQ, and NASDAQ is yesterday. If we're looking at yesterday, at and around the open, NASDAQ was bearish all day yesterday. Okay. We had a break of structure here to the downside. Just going to delete these. We had a break of structure here to the downside. Price created a new high here, new low, new high. That was never broken over. New low. And that's it. New high. But it never broke above this high. So we were in a downtrend on the 4-hour on NASDAQ yesterday. Now on the 1-hour, go ahead and mark this out. I'm going to mark out the open here. So 4-hour, we're bearish. On the 1-hour, we are, let's take a look. I just got so much going on here. This is the open. On the 1-hour, we are bearish. This is a high. And this high was broken here, but that was like a few hours after the open, 90 minutes after open. So at the open, we're also bearish on the 1-hour, okay? Because the open is here. I'm still bearish on NASDAQ. So bearish on the 4-hour, bearish on the 1-hour. So if I drop down to the 5-minute, and again, this is, okay, let me back up a little bit. Bearish on the 1-hour, bearish on the 4-hour. So that means I'm looking for liquidity to be swept to the upside before I move down, continuation down. So we've got a sweep here. We had a sweep of this high as well. So these two highs were swept. So I'm dropping down to the 5-minute. Okay. This is market open. I recognize that price had already swept these highs during pre-market. So really, I was just looking for an entry at this point. Okay. So this was our initial sweep during pre-market, although I wasn't on the charts here. Looking for a sweep, and then I'm looking for a break on the 5-minute, which we get here. Okay, we get a break. Now, granted, price break structure back to the upside here. And then we finally get another break to the downside here. And then a break to the downside. Yeah, just right here. And then at the open, price drops, sweeps some liquidity here, and then rallies back to the upside to sweep more liquidity of these 1-hour highs. Okay, great. Now, this is what I'm looking at because I'm on the charts here, and I am looking for price to, since it gave us this break of structure to the downside, but then again, we got another break of structure to the upside here. I'm basically looking for price to give me another break of structure to the downside and then pull back into either a fair value gap, an order block, or breaker to see rejection out of that to continue the move to the downside. So price broke structure here to the upside, and I'm like, okay, bet it's probably wanting to sweep more liquidity here, and that's exactly what it did. Price swept up, swept more liquidity, gave us a break of structure to the downside here. Now I'm looking for opportunity, okay? Because we have a liquidity sweep, a break of structure to the downside, and a fair value gap. Those are 3 confluences that have taken place. Now, I need to go back and study this because this is where things got a little chaotic, if you will. Now, ignore this. I'm keeping it on the chart because I'm going to get to it in a second. I guess I can delete this for now. Okay, so price swept liquidity, gave us a break of structure to the downside on the 5-minute, and pulled back into this fair value, and gave us a fair value gap that was then pulled back into. But in order for price to pull up into this fair value gap, it broke structure again on the 5-minute right here in order to give us that pullback up. So I saw this and I think I took like 4 trades yesterday. Embarrassing. But I took one initially somewhere around here. I think it was off of this rejection candle because I like how price rejected here. It was like somewhere in here. But then I noticed, okay, price broke structure to the upside on the 5-minute in order to reach this point. Again, and this is something I'm going to have to back test, is that I could either just risk it in terms of it's breaking structure to pull back into our area of interest. And if it's doing that, but we're still bearish, like at this point, we're still bearish on the 15-minute. And we stay bearish on the 15-minute. Then maybe this is just pulling up to, again, to pull back into our area of interest and to get more liquidity before continuing its sell off. Okay, so anyways, price came up here into our area of interest. I was like, you know what, I'm going to close out because it broke structure to the upside on the 5-minute. Now, price consolidated here for a little bit, and I told myself, I was like, okay, I'll re-enter this trade if price again breaks structure back to the downside, giving us one of our 3 confluences, pulls back into that, and then gives me rejection out of it. So basically I need to see the whole setup again. So price did its thing, boom, 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 boom. Granted, I had my stops above this liquidity sweep, so I would have never gotten stopped out. That's something else I need to remember and note. But I closed out in a little bit of profit. Or actually in a little bit of drawdown. I think it was like 0.1% or something. It was very small. So there's that. So then price kind of bounces around here, consolidates for a little bit. And then we finally get a break of structure to the downside here. And I'm like, okay, bet. Now I marked out this fair value gap. And I think I had probably this fair value gap as well marked. Because I was like, what if it wants to come all the way up in here? Which it eventually did. But I was like, okay, bet I am going to look for price to now pull up into one of these areas and give us rejection out of it. I might have had this highlighted as well. But from a high to low on the 5-minute. Price came up here, tapped it. I dropped down to the 1-minute. And then was looking for a break of structure to the downside on the 1-minute before entering. Now, price pulled into the fair value gap here. We have a low here. It's not broken. We have a low here. It's finally broken. I get in around here. Because we had a break of structure to the downside on the 1 minute, which was a little bit lower than I initially had wanted it to go, but that's what it was. So my entry was here, okay? Now, I had take profit levels going... I mean, I was really probably working just on solely on the 15 minute because I had a take profit area there. I had a take profit area probably down here. And then went all the way down here. But obviously, another thing to note, okay? It's Thursday. At this point, I took my trade at 12-ish p.m., 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? It's Thursday. It's 12 p.m., almost 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and tomorrow is the bank holiday. Anything can happen, but the likelihood and the chances of price coming all the way down to my final TP is, I don't know, not likely, I guess. So my first mistake was putting my take profit levels and not just like putting my what's it called? My take profit at TP1. Okay, I think I had it at TP a little bit further than TP2, which again, given the circumstances, just shouldn't have even been viable, or like I should have just been like, I'm going to put it at TP1. TP1 got hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times, which is so stupid, but it did. And I should have just got out there. But I didn't. And ultimately, I don't even know. I wish I could log into it right now. I don't know how many trades I took, but I took enough and I was down a bit, and ultimately I was in and then I was out because of all of this like sideways movement, and I just like officially I got out, and it was just chaotic. Like even this like price action is kind of like stressing me out right now, and it shouldn't. Like it's nothing crazy. Anyways, I got in around here. I had my TP1 set here. I could have made, it doesn't even matter, but like this is a short 85 points. My stop loss, though, I did put it above these highs. And so I was like, the risk to reward on that is ass, obviously. It's like, so that's why I put my stop loss a bit lower. Again, I put it at like TP3 just so I could like feel better about this. Anyways, all's that to say, that was the trade on NASDAQ yesterday. Price broke structure to the downside here for the second time after breaking. And ultimately, price just pulled back into this. Let's just revert back just so I can bring this story full circle. I hope I'm making sense, because I feel like I'm not, but I am. It's just a weird place to be. And that's why I'm kind of like not apprehensive to share these things, but I'm just like, kind of, you know what I mean? Like you want to be putting out content that you're like very certain and confident on. But like at this point in time, I'm just like working through some shit. Just working through some shit. So I'm going to post this regardless, because that's the point of this. But like, I just hope I'm making sense. And I'm excited to be able to look back on this and be like, baby girl, we were there. We were so close. Because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm so close, but I'm just like untangling some wires right now in my brain. Price broke structure to the upside here. Boom, baby. Price swept liquidity here, broke structure to the downside here, pulled back into this fair value gap, but it broke structure to the upside on the 5-minute. So I took a trade here, but noticed that it broke structure to the upside on the 5-minute. So I was like, I kind of want to cut my losses right here because I don't know if price wants to go higher ultimately. And I wanted to wait till a break of structure back to the downside and to give me a re-entry when I was certain that price was, or as certain as I can be, that price was going to continue to sell off. So broke structure here, kind of like toyed around, broke structure back to the downside here, gave us some 2 fair value gaps. I got in around here because that's where price broke structure to the downside on the 1-minute. This is TP1, shoulda, coulda, woulda, got out there. But ultimately price came back up. I never got stopped out because I always closed my trades when I was like, I think I just want to take the little bit of profit that I have. But after taking a closer look at this, I should have just put my my take profit at TP1 and called it a day there. So again, this is something I'm going to back test right now actually, is if price breaks structure to the upside on the 5-minute, is it best to wait for a break of structure back to the downside and giving us that confluence to take that movement down versus hoping, praying, wishing that it doesn't stop me out? So that's something I need to study. When was that? So yeah, anyways, that's NASDAQ. I'm not even going to go over ES because I didn't take any trades on ES yesterday. I did mark it out. So I mean, I guess we can go over it. It's not going to kill me. If anything, it'll make me better. Okay. So anyways, that was NASDAQ. It was a little chaotic and a little crazy, but here we are. I think just the good rule of thumb is like, look at this shit. It's literally going like this. What is this? On the 4-hour, we were bullish, price making higher highs and higher lows. On the 1-hour, let me go ahead and put this. One hour at the start of the open. Where's the open? It's not it. Oh, I just moved. That's what I moved. We were also bullish on the 1-hour. We just broke structure to the upside here and here. Being that we were bullish on both the 4-hour and the 1-hour, I was like, okay, bet. Let's see if price has swept any liquidity to the downside, or where it needs to sweep liquidity to the downside in order to continue its move up. And there were a few. There was a low here, price swept. I can put that line here. It's really close. Another low, that price swept. So I was like, okay, great. Scaling down to the 5-minute. Let's see where we're at. Granted, this was market open over here. So I was looking to the left to see, okay, when was the initial sweep and break? Right here. This is the initial liquidity sweep. Price swept these lows gave us a break of structure to the upside here on the 5-minute. Okay. With that break of structure to the upside here, we have an order block and one sec. We've got an order block here, which is marked out right here, and that's really it. So anyways, price breaks up, comes back down to the order block. Now this is all before market open, okay? Now market open happens here. Price comes down, comes back up, break structure to the upside barely, gives us a fair value gap, and then if I were to have entered, I would have entered off of this fair value gap, but I would have gotten stopped out because my TP level would have been back to all-time highs, or at least, yeah, which is like not, oh, maybe that is all-time high, low key. No, it's up here. So I would have gotten stopped out because I would have held. I think that when it comes to execution, like I feel really confident in my execution. In terms of getting and seeing the confluences and knowing when to execute. It's not really a matter of getting stopped out because my analysis is wrong. Of course that happens, but like, I feel like that's not a weakness of mine. I feel like the weakness of mine is trying to hit a home run in terms of my take profits. And then when I don't, then I get scared or confused or whatever. And then I'm like, just close out with a trade. That's what I feel like I'm noticing. Because this on ES, for me, really, I would have got stopped out for sure. Because this wouldn't have been my final TP. Because that was already hit. And that's, I didn't take this trade regardless. So again, because of that. So anyways, this was ES. I just didn't see much like room for, I just didn't see it being a valid like risk to reward. So I didn't even take it. So anyways, that's my recap of yesterday. I would log into this, but I'm just kind of lazy. But know that I took way more trades than I should have yesterday. And it was really just based off of like, ooh, I see a break. I'm going to close because price could be going potentially higher. And again, I'm not mad at that because I think that's valid. And waiting for this entry was, I think, like good on my part. But just like not getting out here. And then just like all of the turmoil that occurred through this, like, I don't want to feel that. So, anyways, this is a bit, vulnerable, I guess you could say, for me to share it and post because I feel like, the reason I'm sharing and posting this is like to share with to see where I'm at, to share with you where I'm at. I'm obviously I'm working towards becoming consistently confident and consistently profitable. And this is it. This is the journey. And this is it. And I maybe because like there's people online that are, of course, 20 steps ahead of me because they have 20
more years, not really, but like feels like it, of experience. They're 6 steps ahead of me because they have 6 more years of practice, like duh. So it's just, I'm putting this content out into the universe to be judged. And I think that's why it feels a little bit vulnerable. But as long as I'm honest with where I'm at, like I'm not trying to sell you a course. Like I'm not trying to do anything to pretend like I'm somewhere and doing something and at a level that I'm not at. So at the end of the day, I literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So that's it. And that's all. Thank you for tuning into this little video. I'm going to get this posted. And yeah, I hope you have a really great weekend. And I am prioritizing my mental health and my mental state. But I'm excited to get back on the horse next week. So without further ado, thanks again for tuning in. And thank you for being here with me as I navigate this terrain. If you resonate with anything that I've shared in this video, let me know in the comments below. And that's it. I'll see you all next week.